joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, Heisman Trophy winner, longtime running back in the National Football League, and an MMA fighter himself, Herschel Walker, here on the program. How are you, Herschel?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. So let's talk about this fight. Kimbo Slice and Ken Shamrock are finally going to get it on after what Kimbo said, a pillow fight that Ken was involved in years ago, left him with a cut.
Yes.
That's what Kimbo said. It was a pillow fight. And now here they're finally going to be fighting Friday night at the St. Louis Scott Trade Center on Spike, 9 Eastern time. Well, what's your interest in this fight, Herschel?
Well, I've been in this MMA now for about 7 years, and I'm out to let people know MMA is for real. This is the real deal. This is one of the toughest workouts I've ever done in my life, and if you know anything about working out, I do. And it's a sport that I absolutely love, and I encourage people that just to watch this fight coming up this Friday on Spike. But I tell you what, with Kimbo and Ken, this is going to be a heck of a fight. Not only Kimbo and Ken, but you got Bobby Lashley on the fight card, and I love this MMA.
Yeah. So why do you do it? You're 53 years of age, Herschel. Why are you?
No, don't tell anyone, because I've been lying to them, telling them I'm 20.
Okay.
So we don't want to tell them I'm that old.
All right. So you're
when I'm fighting, I want them to think that I'm 20 years old.
Okay. So you're a 20-year-old, Herschel.
Yeah.
It's like you're back between the hedges. So
yes.
Except you're between the chain link, I guess, fences. So why are you doing it?
Well, the reason I do it is because I absolutely love martial arts. When I was in college, I used to play on Saturday, go to church Sunday morning, and fight Sunday afternoon in Taekwondo tournament. And I love the sport. And when this MMA first came out, I said, man, I would love to do that. And Scott Coker there at Strikeforce gave me an opportunity. And it's like a human chess match. It's not just fighting. You have to go and train. It's not like I just went from the football field right into the cage fighting. I went out to AKA and started training for almost 9 months before my first fight. And I learned about the sport, and I learned that, guys, it's like two chess guys in a ring, because you know what I'm going to do. I know what you're going to do, but you got to be quicker. You got to be faster. You got to have a little bit more athletics to get over me on this. So it's a little bit different, and you're there alone. It's not like you're on a team where, if I mess up, the receiver's going to catch that pass. I missed a block, but the quarterback, he took me sort of got away and threw the pass. It's just you against your opponent.
So what when you were on the campus, Herschel, in Georgia, you were fighting too as you're running in the SEC?
I was doing martial arts tournament Sunday afternoon, and Coach Dooley, he once saw me and he told me, he said, Herschel, I really don't think you should be doing that. And I did. I told Coach, I said, well, Coach, I grew up in Wrightsville, Georgia. I said, I remember I used to run track with no shoes on. No one ever said, Herschel, don't do that. Mm-hmm. So I remember I used to come on my parents' home, jump off like I was G.I. Joe. Not one person said, Herschel, don't do that. And I said, you guys recruited me because I did all these crazy things, and now I'm here. And I said, if you want that same guy there, you got to let me do what I do. And I think that's the reason throughout my whole athletic career, people have let me do my own type of thing, through my workouts or through whatever I'm doing, because I will excel at it. And I say, guys, you got to give guys an opportunity to perform. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you get a football player and they say, oh, man, he's my big stud now, so, don't let him do this, don't let him do that. No, let him do things. Because let him get out there and do things. Just like in football today, some running backs ought to run down on a punt coverage sometimes, because you're working on your speed, you're working on your conditioning, return kickoffs, do those things, and that's what's going to make you better. And in the MMA, what's unique is, if you're a great boxer, that's all well and good, but you're probably going to get hurt. If you're a great Taekwondo guy, that's all well and good. You may going to get hurt. A great wrestler, that's great, but you got to be rounded. What I mean by that, you got to know a little bit about boxing, a little bit about karate, a little bit about wrestling, a little bit about jiu-jitsu. So I think that's what makes the sports interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Herschel Walker joining me here now. And in that regard, Herschel, I mean, Terrell Davis, another Georgia runner, got his shot essentially with the Broncos because of some of the special teams plays he was making. And they're like, you know what, let's give him a shot running the football. And then we saw what happened to him. But his career ended on making a tackle in the preseason after Elway threw an interception. Right. So,
Right.
and that's probably where coming into the new era that you're talking about, where somebody with a talent like Terrell Davis is going to be like, let's just have him run the football and do nothing else. I think that's where that.
Think about this now. Think about this. What if you had Terrell Davis at some times? I'm not saying, you know, he was a star, so he was playing a lot of downs and stuff. But having to cover, remember, he was covering kickoffs, so he was more alert at that time. You know what's coming around you. Where if you're not doing it a lot, you don't really see that. So when that interception was thrown, he went just to go after that guy, not noticing anything around him, because now he's turned to other mode. I'm on defense. Well, if you're used to being on defense, you know the guy that's coming low because you see it all the time. So that's what I say. You got to notice things around you. As a running back, when you're running the ball, sometimes you run off field. You can feel that guy on your left, so you move a little bit to your right. You feel that guy behind you, so you speed up a little bit, or you make that little cut off a lineman before you can see him. Well, those are instincts that you have. But going to make a tackle is not an instinct. You know, you're just going to try to make the tackle. It doesn't matter who's there. You're trying to run through them. Well, when you're doing it a lot, you get where you get better at it. Well, sometimes it may be good just to jump on the team and do the coverage. So remember, I ended my career returning kickoffs.
I'm on the phone with Herschel Walker here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about a little bit of history. I've always wanted to ask you your perspective on that trade, where you are a Dallas Cowboy, then you become a Minnesota Viking for all of those picks and all of those players. Were you surprised when you?
I was totally surprised.
Yeah, walk me through that. What were you feeling when you heard about this trade?
I was totally surprised, and I really couldn't believe it. Because, you know, when most of the time when there's a trade, players have nothing to do with the trade. And, you know, I never thought that I'd leave. You know, I was in Dallas. I had a home there. Everything was going well. I'm in Dallas, even though we didn't have a great team and we didn't have any draft picks. So what Jerry and Jimmy did, it was very smart. They looked around and saw what they had that they can get rid of and get something for, and that's business. Today, I understand the trade. I understand it well because I'm in the business. Back then, I didn't understand it. I didn't want to go to Minnesota. It was cold in Minnesota. But I tell you today, I love Minneapolis. That's one of the best places I ever lived in my life. I still have a home there. So it's not like I didn't grow from it. I think me as an athlete, I grew so much from the trade. The Cowboys grew so much with the trade. So I think it worked out for both sides.
Herschel Walker joining me here on the program. And in the here and now, there's now Todd Gurley being drafted 10th overall by the Rams, coming out from Georgia with a horrible knee injury and it from last year. And it appears that we don't know what to expect from Gurley. What do you expect from Todd Gurley as a professional?
I expect Todd to be playing this year. And you will see a guy that he's from the old school. I think Gardner as well. They're from the old school. And what I mean by that is they can catch the ball. You know, you see running backs today, they would play 2 downs, they go out of the game on the 3rd down, they bring someone else in. Now they're playing, they bring the nickel in, bring the extra defensive back. But Todd Gurley and I think Gardner can line up in a slot. And that means now they're going to have to leave that linebacker there. Because if they don't show that they're going to change personnel on the offense, the defense probably not going to change. And now you line the guy up out wide, so I think they're going to be more of a weapon in the professionals than they were in college.
And so you expect him to be effective this year?
I expect Todd Gurley to be productive this year. I do. I think he's going to have that knee. He's going to be out there working. He's working hard right now. So I would tell you that you will see Todd Gurley play this year.
Yeah, Marshall hates it. I sit there next to Marshall Faulk all the time, Herschel, and he just hates it seeing the guys tap their helmet after running the ball a couple of times in a row, 3 times in a row, and tap the helmet and run off the field. He can't stand it.
That's terrible. You know, it's like, wait a minute, this is football. You know, this is football. That's your job. And that's why I said that, you know, I'm a little confused that guys don't play every down. And I tell running backs today, whenever I speak to college running back, I say, guys, catch the ball. I said, start learning to catch the ball, start learning to block, be protective. That's what's wild. When I got to the Cowboys, the people remember I played tight end, wide receiver, slot back, this. I played a lot of different positions because they had Tony Dorsett. So I was being moved around, and I think that's what kept me in the league a long time was I was able to do all those things. So I think guys today can do. They're used to catching the ball in the backyard. They don't like guys quit going off the field. Play football to win. When you want to win, you're a competitor.
Last question for you, Herschel. A lot of young people certainly don't know that you started your career in the United States Football League, something called the USFL, with the New Jersey Generals. And the guy who signed your checks at the time just announced running for president a couple of days ago. Give me your best Donald Trump story, Herschel. You got one for me?
Well, I think one of my best stories is, when I was in training camp, training down in Orlando, we got some days off, and, we get days off, and Donald happened to be down there. And Cindy, myself, and Cindy's parents said, we're going to go over to Disney World. And Donald goes, I'll go with you. I'll go with you guys. And he went to Disney World with us, and we're walking around Disney World with Donald, Cindy's parents, and myself. And I said, now, that was very interesting that all he wanted to do is just go to Disney World. We didn't do anything. We just walked around.
So when was the last time you spoke to the Donald?
It was a couple of weeks ago. And, and I'm going to tell people this. We want to see some changes in the country. Only way you're going to get into changes is to put new people in office, whether it's president, whether it's Congress people. But if you want to see a change, you got to put some new people in office because you can always get them out of office if you don't like what they did. Because we've had so many Congress people that have been in office forever, and look at the way this country continued to go down.
So,
and I think if we want to see a change, we're going to have to change a lot of them.
So are you stumping for Donald and Kimbo in the same conversation, Herschel? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm pitching for the best fight. I think one of the best fights this year is going to be Kimbo and Ken. I think they're going to be one of the best fights. Now, for president, I'm not sure yet. I'd love to see what everyone's going to say, because one of the things I think they need to say is we got to get jobs back here in this country and stuff. So whoever's going to get jobs back in this country, they put people back to work so they can put food on the table and continue to live for themselves. That's what I may be voting for.
Herschel, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. We'll chat soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. Now.
You bet. That's Herschel Walker. Bellator Unfinished Business live Friday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Spike. The Kimbo-Ken Shamrock fight that should have happened 7 years ago going down on Friday night here. That's Herschel Walker here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.